head schools are facing a crisis after the government released less funds, and this is a discussion that we want to have with you here on KTN News Center. And in our Twitter poll this morning, we ask you, should the government reconsider the use of NEMIS in releasing education funds? Should the government reconsider the use of NEMIS in releasing education funds? At KTN Kenya, that is our Twitter handle, or at Zeda Brenda, beginning with the hashtag KTN News Center. When you're giving us your feedback, whether you think the government should reconsider the use of NEMIS in releasing education funds. All right, now we begin with the top story where President Uhuru Kenyatta has handed Fred Matiang'i, that is Interior Cabinet Secretary, sweeping powers on the oversight of government programs, signaling his confidence in the Interior Cabinet Secretary in his final term in office that will shape his legacy. Dr. Matiang'i will chair the newly constituted National Development Implementation and Communication Committee. The president's move has, however, drawn mixed reactions from a section of leaders, with some of Deputy President William Ruto's allies saying it could be a move to undermine the Deputy President. All right, now let's talk to our Senior Political Affairs, Chris Thairu, who is located in a city center studio at I&M building. And Thairu, good morning. Where does this decision by the president leave Deputy President William Ruto? Because many people expect that since he's the deputy to the president, he's expected to see several government projects, including the Big Four agenda.
Well, a very good morning to you, Brenda, and dear viewers. Remember that this is the first time under the Jubilee government or Jubilee regime we are seeing a chief minister or a cabinet secretary who has been given executive powers more than other cabinet secretaries. And remember that this committee that Dr. Fred Matiang'i will be chairing is more precisely a cabinet meeting, or to be precise, that President Uhuru Kenyatta normally chairs. This committee will consist of all the cabinet secretaries, and the secretary to that committee, when they are meeting, will be the head of public service, that is Joseph Kinyua. So Matiang'i now has more powers than even the rest of his colleagues in cabinet, and first they will be reporting to him directly in regards to what they are doing, the projects that they have, they lined up, and of course, when it comes to the budget allocation, we have the Rotich, the CS for Finance or for Treasury, Henry Rotich. He will be the deputy to Matiang'i, and so the two are expected to head this committee. And of course, Fred Matiang'i now will be responding directly to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Well, most people have been seeing this as an undermining, as a move to undermine the deputy president. Remember that from where I see it in two folds. One is that Deputy President William Ruto still holds the powers that he has. He still remains the deputy president of the republic, and going by the constitution, he's the principal assistant to the president. And so when the president is not there, then the deputy president, that is William Ruto, Dr. William Ruto, then steps in. And of course, we remember when the president went out to The Hague, that was during their first term, we saw deputy president actually assume the powers of the presidency. And so the powers of the deputy president are still intact, and he still remains the deputy president. But on the other angle, or the flip of the coin, when you go to the political aspect or the political implications, then that's where the bone of contention is. Remember when President Uhuru Kenyatta came up with the Tanga Tanga tag when they were in Nairobi during the before the or after the campaigns, and there was this tag about the Tanga Tanga, and then the deputy president came out strongly about this tag, saying that yes, for him he is the principal assistant to the president, and so he will oversee other duties and projects, and make sure that he traverses the country to oversee that the promises that they made to the people of Kenya when they were campaigning are delivered. Now, the question that begs if these obligations or these duties have now been taken to Dr. Fred Matiang'i, then where does this leave the Deputy President? Remember that Matiang'i is the order that the first executive order of 2019 that came out yesterday now gives Dr. Fred Matiang'i now the powers also to supervise these projects, to go around the country trying to see what's happening in terms of the projects that have been initiated, the projects that are supposed to be completed, whether there's a problem in terms of the funding. And these are the issues that the Deputy President actually was handling when he was traversing the country, trying to oversee these projects. From where I sit, these will also not stop the Deputy President, of course, from traversing the country, because he still has that legitimate title as the Deputy President. But more to speak is that most people are reading the political aspect of which 2022 succession politics is very rife, and it's true, it's coming. And given that this is the first time we are seeing a chief cabinet secretary in the Jubilee regime, then most people are asking or questioning then, is it right to see maybe or to start the debate on the referendum or changing the constitution so that we can have the position of the Prime Minister now surely and the constitution enshrined in the constitution, so that instead of any orders, we have someone substantive given powers by the constitution to handle all these obligations. And as things continue, we'll hope, of course, that backlash or the feeling by the Ruto supporters that the president is undermining his deputy, of course, it's something that we'll be looking upon, and of course the reaction from members of the public and members of parliament, and we'll see what they want to say. What I can say, Brenda, is that this morning we had information that some members from the Rift Valley region had planned to actually hold a media briefing and address the media in regards to this order, but we understand that so far that meeting has been called off. Let's see what transpires during the day, Brenda.
And thank you for that explanation. But my question is, when you look at Raphael Tuju, he's a cabinet secretary without portfolio. And when he was being given that position, the explanation was that he would be, overseeing what other cabinet secretaries do. So where does it leave Raphael Tuju?
Well, Raphael Tuju, his duties are still intact. Remember that Raphael Tuju was to help the cabinet secretaries ensure that they deliver the promises to Kenyans in tandem with the proposals or the agreement and the promises that the Jubilee Party held. Remember that Raphael Tuju is the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. And so there are promises that Jubilee Party really made to Kenyans. And so Raphael Tuju's duties are still intact. Remember that for him is to go to every ministry or all the CSAs, talk to them and make sure that the framework that they are coming up with or the projects that they're coming up with, they're in tandem with the promises that the Jubilee Party actually made when they were campaigning in 2017. And so Raphael Tuju, for him, his work is still well cut out, Brenda.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. I wait to see whether that press conference by political leaders from the Rift Valley will take place. And of course, I know you shall give us the latest update. Still on that appointment of Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, let's talk to now a Nyeri County reporter, that is Ibrahim Karanja, just to, let us know what residents of Nyeri on the ground are saying. Karanja, good morning. What is the reaction from Nyeri County?
Well, good morning, Brenda. I am in Nyeri town where this actually appointment of Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i has been received with mixed reactions amongst the residents here. Brenda, remember it is the Executive Order number 1 of 2019, yesterday by the President, that now puts Fred Matiang'i with more tasks, which are actually, the layman can say, is actually equal to the Prime Minister or Chief Minister. The residents here have got a very, very mixed reactions or very, very mixed opinion about this appointment by Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Some of them supporting, and actually some of them actually pointing out some of the dockets that they say, according to them, he needs to probably put his focus on more. Remember, Matiang'i will be chairing that special committee that under him will be all cabinet secretaries, the Attorney General, and the head of the public service. So I'll be speaking to residents of Nyeri Town just to get a feel of them and what they think of this new appointment by President Uhuru Kenyatta for Fred Okengo Matiang'i as, quote-unquote, the new chief minister. And I'll be starting with you, sir. Allow me to start with you. Kindly tell me your name and then tafadhali niambie. Unachukulia vipi uteuzi wa waziri Fred Matiang'i kama mkuu wa waziri hao wengine pengine?
Mimi naitwa ambao ni businessman Nyeri. Mimi nimeshukuru sana kwa rais kwa kutagaza Matiang'i kama prime minister. Kwa maana amefanya kazi mzuri, akipelekwa kwa transport anafanya mzuri. Nataka aanze na corruption. Ndio iko juu sana kwa Kenya.
Naam, Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, when the president was appointing Matiang'i in that specific role, he said that he wants him to also help him curb corruption, and he will be actually in charge of all cabinet positions. Probably, why do you think the president has got so much faith in Fred Matiang'i? Where does this confidence come from, sir? Let's start by your name, of course.
Thank you. My name is David Mwangi, and I'm glad to be in the KTN. And therefore, yeah, I'm very happy indeed to hear. If I come back and try to see Mr. Matiang'i, he's a wonderful guy, and he can do a good job. President, go again, appoint more people like Matiang'i. Security side is perfect. We come to education is perfect. And also want him to appoint on the judicial side. And therefore, we are very glad. The president is doing a good job. Vice President is good, doing a good job, and therefore I'm very happy to be in the
Thank
studio.
you. Brenda, more residents just to give us their reaction. Tafadhali niambie, manake waziri Matiang'i amechaguliwa sasa na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Pengine wewe hisia zako ni zipi?
Mimi naitwa Madhenge, naishi hapa kwetu ni Nyeri. Mimi nasema venye niliona rais amechagua Matiang'i nilifurahia. Wengine walikuwa nasema anataka kumshusha deputy president, lakini sisi kama mimi ni Ruto damu, mimi nasema hiyo naona Matiang'i ataweza, na watu wasifikirie ati mambo ya Ruto ati ameshushwa sijui nini. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Matiang'i ataweza hizo zote, na kwanza angalia health sana. Sisi watu tunasema ni sawa, tumefurahia na hiyo.
Kwa hivyo wewe unasema wewe ni muungaji mkono wa naibu wa rais William Ruto, na hauhisi kama uteuzi huu pengine una lolote kisiasa kuhusiana na uchaguzi wa mwaka 2022?
Mimi kwanza, mimi nasema mimi ni wa deputy president William Ruto damu, na tuoni sisi watu wa Ruto hatujafinywa hata kidogo. Mimi naona iko sawa na kazi itaendelea, na 22 tuko na Ruto ndani.
Pengine Brenda, allow me to speak to one more resident. Tupatie tu hisia zako kuhusu uteuzi wa Fred Matiang'i.
Kwanza mimi nimefurahia sana kwa sababu vile tumeona ile ministry zote Matiang'i amepitia yote amesiweka swali. Sasa tunataka anze na hii ya corruption, ya land na ya health, sana ya health sana, kwa sababu akiingilia hizo zote asiweke swali ndio Kenya tuendelee. Lakini sioni kama hii ni mambo ya siasa, sioni kama ameingilia Ruto pahali popote. Mimi ni damu Ruto damu, lakini sioni kama sisi tumefinywa hata kidogo kama vile mwenzangu amesema. Asante sana.
Well, Brenda, those are some of the sentiments by residents of this particular town after that appointment by President Uhuru Kenyatta of Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Remember, the president in his speech, and he said this, he saw the necessity to issue an order to provide for the framework for, get this, Brenda, facilitating effective oversight, coordination, implementation, administration, and supervision of development programs and projects. Those are the roles that President Uhuru Kenyatta expects Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i to deliver. And remember, Matiang'i will be reporting directly to President Uhuru Kenyatta. So, of course, some very, very positive reactions from the residents of Nyeri Town, who are actually showing confidence and faith in the Interior Cabinet Secretary, saying that he has delivered in the past ministries in which he served, and they believe that in his new capacity, he will deliver even more. That's all from Nyeri Town, Brenda.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim Karanja. Always a pleasure talking to you.